Happy Saturday, Connect fam, and welcome to another episode of the Connect Network TV right here on the CW. I'm your host, Sandy Glenn, with my co-host, Wendy Morales. Hey, Wendy.
Hello, Sandy. How are you?
So Stitches has the day off today. So while she takes over the world, you and we are bringing our CW fam all of the topics and strategies needed to win in the world of online entrepreneurship and social media. So Wendy, how you doing? Happy Saturday.
I am doing great, and happy Saturday to you. Great weekend, ready to get a great week started in the next couple of days. How about you, Sandy?
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to dive into the conversation today because as we continue to celebrate National Small Business Month, here to help us are two incredible female founders, ready to share their insight and expert advice.
And first up this morning, this female founder went from 100,000 a year to an eight-figure exit. Wow.
Yes, and I am so honored to call her my friend. We are talking about the one and only Amy Lacey. Now, if you don't know, Amy is a serial entrepreneur, innovator, best-selling author. I love, by the way, my boys and I love cooking up her meals in her cookbook. She is a keynote speaker and business mentor. And in 2016, after being diagnosed with lupus, she launched Cali'flour Foods and introduced the first cauliflower pizza crust to the market when only a head of cauliflower could be found in the grocery stores. Since selling that company with an eight-figure exit, she now is she's onto her newest product called Soursop, and we can't wait to dive in and talk more about this, her empire, and so much more. So Amy, welcome to the show.
Hello, I'm excited to be here.
We love having you here.
Thank you.
We are so pleased to have you with us today. And let's just sit in your success for a moment. Are you ever still in awe, Amy?
Thank you. I am in awe, but I will tell you that after we bought our dream house, we moved, and after it was all said and done, I was no longer the CEO and running this company. I actually got kind of depressed and went into a little bit of who am I? I lost my identity. I was no longer like on Dr. Oz or all these shows and breaking records and a CEO of an amazing team. I was a stay-at-home mom, which I love, but my kids were busy doing their own thing. And I just kind of was like, what do I do now? And so I didn't last long being a retired entrepreneur. I went right back into it. I found a product that was really serving the needs of my family. My mom was diagnosed with cancer, and I went right back into the mode of innovation, creating something that was fulfilling, and here I am again.
Amy, thank you for your transparency. That's amazing and very interesting feedback. So, Cali'flour Foods was born to meet a specific need, and foods with no fillers that many people with dietary restrictions could eat. Talk a bit more about founding that company for us.
Yes. So I originally was just looking for a way to eat pizza and have family fun night with my kids again. They were little. I was diagnosed with lupus and Sjogren's, and I found that we were having these Friday night family fun nights, which included pizza and board games or movies. And I found myself waking up on Saturday morning just in a lot of pain. And once I was diagnosed, I went on a mission to figure out how I could replace the medicines that the doctors had put me on with food and make food my medicine, which I believe you can do with the right foods. So I knew I had to go gluten-free, grain-free, and I tried a cauliflower recipe. And it was a hot mess at first, but we finally perfected it and ended up sharing it with family and friends, took it to farmers market. Then some local stores picked up on it. And then the next thing I know, we are growing massively and had created the category cauliflower pizza crust when only a head of cauliflower was in the grocery store. So it was a very exciting time. And the thing that I loved is so many people wrote to me and told me they were type 2 diabetics, they were on keto, they had lost a ton of weight, or they were cancer patients, wrote to me and told me how eating grain-free, gluten-free helped them tremendously and thanked me for the pizza. And that's really what kept me going and kept me moving forward to make the momentum keep going and make the product and the company so successful.
That's amazing. Amazing. Well, I want to dive in and talk about your marketing strategy, especially in this ever-changing world of social media, because once you've tackled the e-commerce, story marketing became your focus. So is this something all founders should focus on?
I think so. I took a course and I also took my team to a course called Story Brand. You don't necessarily have to do the course. There's all kinds of books and people out there talking about stories and how to tell stories and how stories have helped their business. So what I often say is don't just focus on your product or your service or who you are. Have testimonials, have people talk about how their life is better because of your product. Because there's nothing better than somebody telling a story about your product and that's how it's getting promoted, rather than you talking about it. And really the proof is from other people's success.
Amy, so how can our female founders out there watching begin doing that? Because you went from $7,000 a month revenue to a $124,000 a month in revenue. Wowzers. So talk about this marketing up level. What changes? What changes?
Yeah. So again, we started very small at first, and then we grew rapidly, and we actually were doing millions a month at the end. And again, I think it was just being very authentic and true to ourselves. We didn't try to be somebody that we weren't. I was very transparent about who I was, what I was diagnosed with. I didn't try to pretend that I was something different. We were very transparent in showing what our ingredients were and how we made it. I even created a cookbook that became a national bestseller with the actual recipe that we were selling. And I remember people telling me, "You're going to share your recipe? Well, then you're not going to have any sales." Actually, just the opposite happened, because people wanted to figure out how to make it themselves. And once they did, they were like, "Oh, it's just easy to buy it from the experts." So yeah, just going back to story brand, being authentic, being true to yourself, being patient, and just constantly serving your customers. One of the things that was so big for us that created mass momentum, and I think took us from that 100,000 to the millions, is the customer experience. And a matter of fact, we did it so well that Nestle actually flew me out to teach their team how to manage customer service. So what did we do? We focused. You hear so many people talking about focusing on the testimonials, like I just said, about the positive things of your brand. Well, we really focused on the people that came to us with anything negative. Like, we turned in negative people that were unhappy with our product, and turned them actually into affiliates by giving them massive amounts of customer service, teaching them how to use the product, replacing the product for free, going above and beyond. And that turned people that were disgruntled customers, and you hear the old saying that if somebody's unhappy, they're going to tell 10 people about it. No, we were catching them right away, turning them into loving our brand, loving who we are, knowing that we cared about them, because we genuinely did, and turning them into affiliates. My customer service team was bigger than my sales team, because happy customers do the selling for you.
That's right. Well, you now have created this amazing new product, which my family loves, Soursop, using your 5 principles that you mentioned. So to continue overcoming chronic disease, how did you tap into Soursop, and why does everybody need it?
My mom and my best friend, that were like a sister to me, was diagnosed with breast cancer the year I sold Cali'flour Foods. So I thought I was going to retire, but I went on a mission. My best friend was going holistic. My mom was doing traditional radiation chemotherapy. So I discovered a fruit called Soursop. I actually discovered it in Seychelles, island off of South Africa. When I started playing with the fruit and making smoothies for my these two people that were very sick with chronic illness, I started tasting it and taking it, and I realized, wow, my inflammation levels have dropped dramatically. And then I realized my gut health was better and my anxiety was lower. And I started just really researching the product, so much so that we actually entered into a clinical trial. And there are a lot of other trials out there and articles written about the product. We did a couple years of testing on the product, found out that the product was amazing, but there was one problem. To get the fruit, it was like $30 a piece of fruit. And I'm like, there's got to be an easier way to have this fruit and have the benefits without paying $30 a piece of fruit. And so we turned it into a very clean supplement. All of our ingredients are sourced out of Brazil. It's very clean. We use other superfoods, and it truly is, I call it God's fruit, but it's truly a superfruit. And we've added other superfruits, and it's just doing amazing things for people. And we're continuing to invest in more clinical trials and working with physicians. So people are confident in what they're taking, which is very different than any other supplement company. A lot of people just put out supplements. There's no regulations. So we're trying to change that.
We are very excited that you're going to stick around along with our next guest, Sabrina Zohar, the superstar host of the Do the Work podcast. I can't wait to have you both together. So stay close because we will be right back.